Welcome back to Nook and Cranny Gaming. We're about to walk again. If it does something. So we're back at the intro. Welcome back to your walk, by the way. Games that mess with time tend to mess with your head sometimes. So we have seen the credits of the game. We've seen the end of the game, but it seems like there's more. After the credits last time, we were told there is a secret north of the mill and south of the brook. That it was written all down in a journal. And if I can think of one thing in the game that we didn't mess with, one thing that we didn't interact with at all, it was the box in the woods. Maybe we should go check it out. Which I believe is very close by. So none of these symbols really mean a whole lot to us, do they? Okay. So, north of the mill, south of the brook. So let's go check out the windmill. And see if there's a new path. Snake our way around here. Doesn't that look like a person out there? It's like watching me from a distance. It's kind of creepy. But nothing on this layer to see what that is. It might just be a stump. Probably just another tree. Nothing to worry about. Alright, so north of the mill. So let's look out in the skyline. I'm looking for a new path. I don't see really anything. If we go in the mill, she's here. She's gonna say the same thing she did. Freeze your ears off. And I'm quite fond of the person those ears belong to. Did anyone see you coming? They're being silly. You know that I'm not ashamed of you. It's not that. I like you very much. But you and I come from different worlds. He is waiting for my answer. I'd say I'd give it to him next year. And this is the last day of this year. Now you're being unfair. This isn't any easier for me. I don't like it when you're like this. Calm down. You're walking. I hope you're joking. You do remember what happened to my cousin, don't you? Promise me you won't do anything foolish. We're not supposed to know what happens in the future. You should hurry home to your cottage and get some rest. Okay, so she says the same thing that she did last time. Let's go check out the brook. I know that we're still in the real world, I guess, right now. Like, we're not year walking. Because the year walk begins when we start seeing all the creatures and the noises, and the environment changes a little bit. It gets a little bit darker and spookier. So where is that path down? Is there another path down here? Oh, there's not. Okay, so I have to go up and around. Let's, where am I going here? Oh yeah, I have to go up and around and down home. Whoa! 1894? I can't even click on these places. Okay, so these places aren't even available to me until I'm year walking, but what is 1894? Oh, it's below the brook. Oh. The Theo Alm. Theoalm. Theo Alm 68. 1894. Theo Alm 68, 1894. Say what? So we can't go to the river, but we can go back to the box, I guess. Now that we've seen that, maybe it activates something. Check it out. Theo Alm 68, 1894. Nothing. Oh. We do have a journal. The username and password. North of the mill, south of the brook. It's written right there. Huh. Okay, so Theo Alm 68, 1984, or 1894. 1894? Santa? What is going on here? Holy crapola. Well, I guess if we're going to truly find the end of this game, we need to dig into some of these. YW Journal Viewer, view and store photo. Okay, so this is just some kind of like app? But aren't we in like 1894? At least that's what it seems like, right? With the old windmill and the clothing style and stuff like that. Okay, well, let's just do this. Let's see what it is. August 4th. Hello, new system. Whoops, okay. Testing photo upload. It works. Should probably write here more often. Read about every book on Swedish folklore there is. Surprised how little has been written about year walking. Need more sources of information. Talked to ES. He suggested that some field work might be good, but I feel that it might be 30 years too late. Been talking to elderly folks, eating cookies and drinking coffee. Their knowledge about year walking has been limited to say the least. Barely any one of them knew what it was. If they did, they had heard stories as children but forgotten the details. Thinking ES sent me on a wild goose chase. Interviews at the retirement home. May I never grow old. The last interview was intriguing, if very brief. Talked to one Astrid Jansen. She was over 100 years old. Clear at times. Did not know a lot about folklore, but she did claim that her grandfather's brother had once year walked. Sadly, she did not know his name. He had died many years before she was born. Might have to look into it. Her maiden name was Svensson, which leaves me a lot of possibilities. She was born in Vedtorp, and I can only hope that her grandfather was as well. More interviews. Nothing worth mentioning. Professor Asp called today. He hinted that the faculty wanted to take part in my research. A little Daniel Svensson. Followed up my visit to the retirement home. In the early 20th century, there were 6 households in Vedtorp with the surname Svensson, according to the church book. Astrid was born in 1913. Her grandfather was named Carl Frederick. He had 2 brothers. One died in 1942. The other brother, Daniel Svensson, died in 1895. And that's a year after the password, wasn't it? 1894? Yeah. Since Astrid said that her great-uncle died before she was born, Daniel is one that supposedly year walked. A miller apprentice, going to the library to check out some newspapers tomorrow. Looked for reference of Daniel Svensson in old newspapers. I'm grasping at straws. Another day at the library. Nothing of interest. Bored. I'm about to give up. Excited. The newspapers finally mention a Daniel Svensson. He was apparently arrested for murder of a young woman in Vedtorp. This isn't sounding good for us. Vedtorp den 21, and ung man... Yeah, I'll stop. Information is scarce. Her name was Stina Nilsson, and she was a miller's daughter. Her body was found on a field outside of the village, which we've seen. She had been stabbed multiple times. The library should be open longer. Hope I can find any reference to his supposed year walk. September 11th. The motive behind the murder seems to have been jealousy. Not many details. Apparently Stina was going to marry a Lucas Tapper. She was on her way home from Lucas' parents when she was intercepted by Daniel. She was found the following morning, just 17 years old. I feel a tad guilty about my excitement yesterday. After all, there is a great tragedy behind this. The press seemed to have lost interest in the case after a while. Found nothing today. Maybe ES can tell me something. Had a long talk on the phone with ES. The murder case was unknown to him. He had forever... He had, however, spent a lot of time in Vedtorp during the 60s when he studied folklore in the area. There had been a rather peculiar rune stone that seemed to predate the Viking Age. ES claims that there was a definite connection between the symbols on the stone and year walking. He could not tell how. Want to check it out. Went to the library again, in case I missed something about Daniel. Indeed, I had. Found another article. Feeling upset. A little bit sad. Borrowed the article, just in case. Perhaps there is more to learn about Daniel. Booked a hotel room in Vedtorp. Arrived in Vedtorp. It's a small place. One street cuts through the village. It's a rather depressing place. To be fair, the weather would not do any place justice. The hotel is empty besides me and a group of dog toy manufacturers, who are a bit on the noisy side. Must ask chef for the veal recipe. Got a map from the hotel owner. Excited about the archive. Have the feeling that I will find something major. Just got back from the archive. An interesting place. Sadly, it's only open 4 hours a day. It's understandable since I was the only visitor. Possibly found the files I need. Tomorrow. Reading. And lots of it. I knew it. The archive has exceeded my wildest dreams. On New Year's Eve, 1893, dyslexia, Daniel Svensson did indeed year walk. The court records refer to his year walk at several occasions. I've just started to scratch the surface. There must be beliefs hidden among these papers that have been forgotten for ages. Amazing. This is by far the latest recorded year walk. I hope I'm excused for borrowing the file from the archive. They gave me a little choice since they were closed during the weekend. Could not sleep last night, too excited by the files. Much of the records are of legal nature, but there are relevant passages. Daniel claimed he knew that he would murder Stina after seeing it in a vision on his year walk. Sadly, the scribe was not bothered to take it all down and occasionally just refers to it as ramblings of a madman. Poor boy. There are certain elements that are new to me. Must write them down in detail later on. Need fresh air. Daniel's cabin, Solsorten, is briefly mentioned in the protocol. We'll ask around about it. Hope it still exists. That look familiar? Drove around for hours in the forest today. There are woods to get lost in. These are woods to get lost in. Asked for the directions from every local. Most people never heard of the cabin. Was about to give up when I met an old man. His aunt had lived here till the 60s. From then, it had 3 different owners that used it as a summer house until the mid-80s. The last family that owned the cabin only stayed there one summer. Their 5-year-old son drowned in a brook nearby, and after that they never returned. I asked the old man if I could pay it a visit. He did not think there could be anyone that would mind. The cabin is situated deep into the forest. No sign, no road, just a narrow path. This was the place where he started his year walk over 100 years ago. Felt overwhelmed by the thought. Couldn't enter. It's a lonely place. The only other building I could find in the area was an underground storehouse. Guess it might have belonged to the cabin. It was too dark to see anything, but I can't imagine there would be anything of significance in there. Psst, sucker. On my way back to the car, I found this strange box. What an odd thing to leave in the middle of the forest. Seems to be in more or less mint condition. Could not resist taking it. Tonight, I need whiskey, and lots of it. October 1st. Went to Vedtorp Church today. It's a small white stone church built in the 12th century. The place where the church stands has been used for worship even earlier than that, according to the priest I met. He showed me around the premises. Put a bouquet of flowers on Stina's grave. Seemed appropriate. The almost unlikely somber epitaph read, "In memory of our loving daughter, Stina Nilsson, 1877-1894. Her cries for mercy could not sway his hand." Depressing. Searched for Daniel's grave, but there was no stone, and according to the priest, there probably never was. The gravestones E.S. told me about are gone. The priest is not sure where they are or when they disappeared. October 2nd. Weather has been unreasonably bad. Spent the day at the county archive. Had trouble concentrating. Tried to locate a photograph of Daniel Svensson, but no luck. The clerk explained that a lot of stuff was lost when the files were moved from the original archive back in 1976. Apparently there was another murder case in Vedtorp in the early 1890s. Lisa Rasmussen drowned 4 infants in a creek. She was an angel maker who received foster children from poor unmarried couples. Lisa promised to find the babies good homes in exchange for a hefty sum of money. This was all a charade. As soon as the mothers had paid what little they owned, Yeah, paid what little they owned. She drowned their children in a nearby creek. All files from the trial have been lost. Outrageous. Think I'm done with the archive. Been thinking a lot about that church. October 3rd. Strange day. The runestones ES talked about is not marked on any map. Talked to the man at the service station. He drew me a rather primitive map. Searched for the stone for a long time. Almost gave up. Found it at last. I felt compelled to touch it. Had the strangest sensation of looking beyond. Beyond what? The feeling lasted for quite some time. Heading home tomorrow. Wish I had more time. The stone is old. Might predate Christianity. But I fail to see how it's connected to year walking. Could not resist stopping by the church on my way home. I walked around it for a bit. It's a pretty church. Not remarkable. But there's something about it. I feel that the church and the stone are connected somehow. Found the box when I unpacked. Had almost forgotten about it. It seems to have some lock-like construction, but I've yet to understand exactly what it is or how to open it. It reminds me of one of those puzzle boxes. The wheel with the symbol suggests it's opened by entering a password. It must be old. Maybe ES knows something about it. Decided not to tell ES about the box. He might not appreciate that I took it with me. He's always nagging me about ethics. Busy week. Classes and meetings. This faculty is really getting in the way of my research. Feeling a bit strange. I've had weird dreams ever since I came back from Vedtorp. And there's the Raven in a bikini and Goatman. Let's party, Theo. And then he's got written down call asp, call ebb, and prepare lecture, Swedish. October 8th. Dreamt that I was in a vast wasteland. I was searching for the keys to my locker together with Jenny from high school. We laughed and dug in the sand. Suddenly the sky lit up and Jenny pointed to a simple constellation of stars. She whispered in my ear to never forget it. I asked her what it meant, but she was dead and her bones were withered and old. Woke up and have been feeling rather queasy ever since. Read an account of a year walk by a man named Ramadal in an old book I came over in a used bookshop. Ramadal's story is little more than a tall tale told by a drunken oaf. Most of them seem to be. Daniel sticks out. It haunts me. Held a lecture on year walking. Several faculty members attended it. They ridiculed me in front of the students. Another strange dream. Was doing my homework. Was stressed because the oil lamp was running out of oil, and when it did, the pale horse outside the window could come inside. The lamp burned out and everything went black. Woke up soaked in sweat. The Hassan. Must remember to buy groceries. Fiddled with the box. I have no clue how to open it. It's frustrating. What jealous, small-minded, greedy creatures the faculty members are. And they will undoubtedly create small-minded, jealous, and greedy students. Don't feel the need to share any of my research with the faculty anymore. They don't deserve to read something that my hand has written. They would not understand anyway. The thought of what is inside that box is like an itch that can't be scratched. I've searched for references to anything about it, but I have found nothing that resembles it at all. Having more strange dreams. Something happened in those woods. Is year walking a mere vision quest? Are the visions brought on by lack of light and food? ES believes so. Not so sure. Dreamt of the rune stone. Was in the forest outside Vedtorp. Mrs. Bowman was walking up to me. I was very afraid. She said that I had been a bad boy and broken the rules. Before I could defend myself and tell her that I did not mean to be naughty, she withered into dust. I found myself in front of the rune stone. The Grimm's eyes glowed at me. Woke up. Find myself thinking of the stone. What does it mean, and how is it connected to year walking? What did people do in those woods? Do not feel like sleeping tonight. Drinking coffee and watching TV. If I stay awake, those dreams will stay away. Could not understand much of my students' presentations today. Must sleep. Someone is watching me all the time. Got an email reminder to deliver the text for the game. Wrote 7 or 8 pages. Hopefully it's enough. Waiting. Don't know for what. Have a feeling that something is on its way. October 30th. Received an odd email today. Got over 1,000 of these during last night. The emails seem to have stopped when my inbox was full. Don't know what it could mean. Maybe it's a prank by the students. But they seem too unimaginative to come up with something like this. Don't think it will end here. Is this some kind of threat? Called the priest. Told him of my plight. He said that Vedtorp sometimes had a strange effect on people, but it rarely lasted. Do not think he understands. I was going to ask him about the box, but decided to hang up when he suggested I should see someone. Woke up last night. Heard baby screams from beneath the floorboards. Panic. Managed to pry up some of the floorboards. The screaming stopped. The Watchers, the Night Raven, the Huldra, the Brook Horse, and the Church Grim. There might be others. Cannot be sure. Can they disguise themselves? Maybe they can read my mind. The Watchers, because they watch. That's what they do. But is that all they do? Year walk. System error. Year walking works, but it was never meant to. It's against the rules. The universe blinked its eye and someone crossed all the barriers that are known as time and space. The Watchers are watching, but who are watching the Watchers? How can you bend space and time? Got in a heated argument with ES. He's surprisingly scornful of my theories. Must remember that he is an old man, and he might not be as open to new ideas any longer. He claims that it is impossible to gaze into the future. The future's not set. Nothing happens until it happens. Of course, it's impossible to look into the future according to logic, but I'm not sure they are playing according to our rules. The Watchers are more than they appear, and less. They are real, yet they are unreal. They do not exist in the manner that this table and this chair exist. November 19th. How do I know these things? Are they my thoughts? Am I writing this? I certainly did not draw this, but yet it's here in my notebook. Watchers or antibodies? Daniel broke the rules, and he was punished. Held another lecture. The last one for a long while, it seems. It's been decided that I need a break, but it matters not. I have more important things to do. I've been an idiot. Someone is playing with me. These shapes, it's the same as on the box. Did someone see me take it? Tried the symbols that I have received, but the box remains shut. There must be more coming. Woke up last night. The telephone rang. Answered. Could not hear anyone. Hung up. It rang again. Answered. Could hear someone speak on the other side. Could not make out what was being said. The voice was too far away. Hung up. It kept ringing. Cut the cord. Bought whiskey. Bought food. People stare. Don't want to go out there again. Too many know who I am. If you break the rules, there will be consequences. Wish I had not cut the cord on my phone. Need to hear a human voice. Don't dare go out. At first, I didn't even notice. One of the paintings in my living room has been replaced. It must have happened during the 30 minutes I slept. Cannot let my guard down. Someone was here. Or something. Will the antibodies come for me? Am I a virus in the eye of the universe? Boarded up the balcony and the windows. Nothing can come in now. I hope. Shouldn't be possible. But someone was here again. I'm definitely not threatened. There was a knife on my kitchen table. I'm definitely being threatened. There was a knife on my kitchen table. Old, but sharp. I realize that the knife is his. We are connected. The church is central to this, and yet it is not. Perhaps the church itself is not important, but rather the energy of the place. Perhaps the gate is always there, but it's not a gate. Gates are meant to be open or closed. This is a rift in the fabric of the very existence of everything. But why allow it? Why does the universe or God or someone not shut the gate? If we're not meant to do it, why let us? I can hear the heart of the universe beating. What is happening? I feel like a worm under a big boot. I feel the shadow hanging over me, waiting to get crushed. She sings, and I shall follow. She's trying to fool me, that I know, but I must get closer to her because then I get closer to the key that leads me to the heart of it all. I didn't steal the box because it begged me. I didn't steal the box because it begged me to take it with me. Daniel survived all the Watchers, sent by the universe. He was lured by the temptress and brought the innocents to the pale horse, unearthed the parasite, and finally faced the master of them all. But yet he was destroyed. Could it have gone any other way? Was he doomed from the start? Am I doomed? Is the future set, or can it be altered? Must help him. It's the right thing to do. There's a bond between us. Might have figured it out. 5 Watchers. 5 symbols. Which means there's one more coming. So tired. Can't seem to hold my thoughts for any period of time. Should probably eat more often, but I must resist. It's important that I come prepared. The heart beats stronger, but I will break it and see beyond everything. In the end, it was the nature of man that got Daniel. Must free myself of all desires. That's how they get to you. Can love really be a weakness, or is it a strength? And the poor girl, it just seems unfair. Is there anything I can do? If the future can be altered, why not the past? Am I playing the part of the fool in the cosmic play? And if so, to what purpose? Disconnected the microwave oven, just in case. Feeling absolute terror at the possibility that there is no purpose, no rhyme, no reason to any of it. Why me? The only way I can help him is if I break the rules. It will come at a price, but what do I care if I rise above it all? Saw her lifeless body. She is beautiful, even in death. Have been crying ever since. It all seems so needless, so cruel. Ready for anything. Don't care anymore. It's finally here. The last one. Woke up with this in my palm. Tried to wash it out. It's a tattoo. Tested them in case... Tested them in all different kinds of combinations, but I could not figure out how to do it. I must sleep. I will open the box tomorrow. December 20th. Of course. So simple. Rotate the wheel and release when the symbol aligns with the grim. In the order they were delivered to me. But why was it empty? I thought it was Daniel all along. I thought he was here, but it cannot have been he who has sent me the password. It doesn't make sense. If the box was empty, it means it must be filled? I still do not understand who sent the symbols. If it was not the boy, then it must have been the Watchers. But why? Are they toying with us? Helping us in some perverse, twisted way? From the get-go, he was doomed. They got him at the very thought of year walking. But I think the girl can be saved. I put everything he needs in the box and locked it. I will leave it where I found it, where all of this started. If my mind is set on this, does it mean that I am doomed too? The rift is open. It wants me to go through. Packed my things. I wonder if I'll come back. Soul sortin'. It's cold here. Wish I could light a fire, but I must do it right. Surprised how calm I feel. Only hours remain. It's midnight. And that is the end of the journal. And this is already an extremely long episode of Year Walk. So next time... No, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. So, what we need to figure out are the symbols that came to our friend here. They came to him throughout these in certain pictures. I remember the first one was a triangle, unless there was one that we missed. So we're going to click through here real quick and just figure out what the order of those symbols were. It was after he got the box, so... I ended up clicking exactly where we were. So there's the box. And we'll check out all these photos that he draws. So the first one is Jenny. She points to a constellation in the sky. It's the upside down triangle. And then seems like there should be one there, but not so much. This one. So it's the right half of a circle. A square. So triangle, half circle on the right, and square. Triangle, half circle, square. So upside down triangle, right circle, square, triangle, and then the last one was the tattoo on his hand. Which I believe was a bottom circle. So upside down triangle, right circle, square, triangle, bottom circle. Let's try it out. Okay, so upside down triangle, right circle, square, regular triangle, upside down half of a circle. Vedtorp murderer executed. Kristianstad, January 21st. Yesterday morning, Vedtorp killer Daniel Svensson was executed at Kristianstad prison. He was found guilty for the heinous murder of young Stina Nilsson last year. The death sentence has been criticized by the highly renowned Dr. Helmer Ludbach, who stated that Daniel is suffering from an abnormal psyche. He seems to have problems discerning past from the present and has visions of terrible creatures, something not uncommon among schizophrenics. Daniel cannot be held accountable for his actions and should be given treatment in an institution before the criminally insane. The execution is performed by Gustav Dahlberg. This was his fourth execution. Last year, he was to perform the execution of the notorious Lisa Rasmussen, the woman who killed the 4 children in the river, who was charged with the murder of 4 infants in Vedtorp, but who took her own life before the sentence could be carried out. Security has been improved greatly since. Daniel Svensson was composed during the whole process. Besides the slightly shaking hands so common among the criminal type, you could not tell Daniel from any other young man. He sobbed loudly once when he laid his head down low, but quickly regained his composure. A quick prayer, and a swift, powerful stroke, and it was over. According to the attending priest, Granath, Daniel's last words were, "I should have killed myself. Then none of this would have happened." So this is the stuff that Theo sent us in the box. So right now we're Daniel looking through what Theo is telling us. You are long dead when I write this, and I have not yet been born, yet we have connection beyond life, death, space, and time, the impossible made possible by year walking. But the Watchers always win. Even though you've not passed through the rift yet, they sense the urge, and they want their sacrifice. I wish there could be another way. I'm sorry. But for her, there is still hope. You can save her. You know what you must do. And the knife. Daniel Stenson. The initials are on the blade, or on the handle. And that is the end of Year Walk. Thank you so much again for joining me for this fantastic game. A great art style and an excellent story told in a very unique means. So we played through this creepy point-and-click game, and there were some weird creatures and things that we kind of figured out were these from Norse mythology. and there was a woman, and then she ended up dead, and that was all we knew. But then after the first set of credits, we kind of took on the persona of a different character. We were able to open this application, essentially what you would have on your phone now, and read through the notes of Theo Almstead, or Theodore Almstead, I believe his full name was. And through those, we learned about Daniel Svensson, the man who we were actually playing in the point and click. And so, at the end there, we were able to walk again through the year walk with the information gained from Theo. And this is actually the end, where instead of the woman dying, Daniel took his own life to save hers. Pretty incredible story. I love this game, and I thought it was a great way to kick off the new year. And I promise you, even though it says walk again, that is the end of the game. I've read through things online just to make sure, but it says play until you see the end, and that is the end. So thank you so much again for joining me. I know this was a long episode and a lot of reading, but I hope that you made it through. I hope that you stuck it out, because there's such an incredible story that happens through that journal of Theo finding the box and investigating the whole year walking matter, and what you learn about that and the characters. And I love it. I love that development. It was a great story told through a very unique pattern, and I appreciate that a lot as a filmmaker and a storyteller myself. So yeah, please make sure to go check out this game for yourself. Play through it, get all in a dark room and play it for yourself without me talking over it. And it's just got such an incredible feel, an incredible story, that I think that you should play it for yourself or share it with somebody else. Share this video series with somebody else, and show them this incredible game. And hopefully, I hope that you were able to stick it out through the whole journal, because I think that's one of the best parts of the game. It ties everything together. And so with that is the first series of 2015 at Nook and Cranny. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next game.